All right, historic, visionary or bonkers, whatever you thought, today the White House walked back parts of President Trump's jaw-dropping pitch to take over Gaza. The former real estate mogul has opened a Pandora's box, but do the craziest of fantasies still have consequences? To the man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And to the real estate developer in the White House, everything looks like a beachfront site for hotels and casinos.
North Korea, they have great beaches. You see that whenever they're exploding their cannons into the ocean, right? So I said, boy, you could have the best hotels in the world right there.
Donald Trump's latest real estate-inspired thought bubble?
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it to level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings. The Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent.
This time, there's one galling difference. What would happen to the 2.1 million people living there?
They'll be resettled in areas where they can live a beautiful life.
How many people are you thinking about?
All of them. I mean, we're talking about probably 1.7 million people, 1.7 million, maybe 1.8 million.
Except the vast majority of Palestinians have no desire to go voluntarily. They don't want to leave their homeland, and they know that if they do, their hopes of a Palestinian state vanish with them. And that leaves only one other option: forcing them out.
We'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that.
The White House today walking that back.
The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza.
Also backpedaling on the whole permanent relocation thing.
If we can get a beautiful area to resettle people permanently in nice homes, I hope that we could do something where they wouldn't want to go back.
The president has made it clear that they need to be temporarily relocated out of Gaza.
So if the Arab world, Trump's allies, and even Trump's own White House aren't behind his big Gaza idea, why is he doing it? One thing we do know about Donald Trump is that he loves a story almost as much as waterside real estate. Whether that story is building that wall or making foreign countries pay American tariffs, what matters is not whether the thing actually happens, because the story remains. And in a contest that pits facts against stories, stories will win every time. So what story is Trump's Gaza intervention telling? The story I heard repeatedly from MAGA-inclined voters that Trump is the president who ends wars by approaching them like a businessman.
Trump is not a politician. He knows how to negotiate business deals.
To end a war by building something is therefore the ultimate fulfillment of his destiny. But the problem is that we, and perhaps that includes Trump, don't yet know exactly what the president has licensed here. That's the thing about stories. They develop lives of their own. Just because you've authored one doesn't mean you can control what it becomes.
Professor Ben Saul is the UN Special Rapporteur for Human Rights and Counter-Terrorism. Professor, do you think that Trump's plan has any prospect of actually happening?
I certainly hope it's a thought bubble. I think in practice, President Trump really doesn't want to see American soldiers being killed in combat against Hamas in a protracted insurgency of the kind which we've seen over the last 16 months in Gaza. I also don't think he really wants to spend $80 billion that it's estimated to cost to rebuild Gaza because of the devastation of most infrastructure and most housing in Gaza over the last 18 months.
And I guess that's what we saw today with the White House basically walking back the military intervention element, the permanent relocation of Palestinians element. That's the status of the policy, at least seems for now. Once you get rid of those elements that just outraged so many people around the world and invoked ethnic cleansing, is there something in there? Like, are you still concerned about the policy even once you lose those bits?
Absolutely, because even the talk by the most powerful political leader and government in the world is inflammatory, it's traumatizing to Palestinians, and it's also illegal because under international law, threatening to use military violence against another territory, to invade it, to illegally annex it, and to mass deport its population, these are all illegal things under international law, and for good reason. I mean, these were the rules written in 1945, the end of the Second World War, and these were the rules written to make sure that didn't happen again.
At the centre of this is the idea of rebuilding Gaza. I think everyone agrees, acknowledges that that has to happen. There has to be redevelopment. What do you think is the best way to do it?
It absolutely needs to be a multilateral, coordinated effort. We shouldn't expect, for example, just Middle Eastern countries to pay for it. Everybody needs to do their fair share, and that includes the United States, and it includes Israel, because, of course, a significant part of this devastation was caused by Israel's violations of international humanitarian law in the way it went about fighting the war in the wrong way in some cases. And of course, under international law, if you violate the law when you're fighting the war, you should pay for it.
Professor, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.